Hello, welcome to the Reframing Mindset podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity and practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day.
Okay, welcome back to Reframe Mindset Podcast. My name is Concern Brooks. In this episode, I talk about unprofessionalism. And you know why? I guess it's another aspect of the, I said, the business of science. Because during the science in school, or when you're doing labs, you have strict rules that you have to follow. And what happened was that the higher you go, the more those rules are important to be enforced and stuff like that. Because the higher that you go, the more dangerous stuff you're working with. And then what happens is that the more autonomous you're you're be becoming, or more independent that you're becoming, and you know, and even though you become more independent, what happens is that your safety is the person who is giving is the company or the institution's importance, or because if something happens to you, it's not, oh, they're gonna be blaming you, like, because, oh, you did weird this or that. No, the company is gonna be liable, and they have to pull out this amount of money to actually come and save you and all those stuff. And if they can't save you, might all go out of business, because, bro, so that's where stuff go. So, you have strict rules that you have to follow when you're doing science, lab codes, um, cleaning, all those stuff. So if like, for example, if a science business get rich enough where it can own a lab, it's like, it is not like any normal business or anything like that. Labs are really, you have to maintain labs, because the thing about chemicals and microbes and all those stuff, you're not dealing with pounds and stuff like that. You're dealing with some minuscule measurements, like you're talking about micrometers, picometers, and all those stuff. And you're not gonna understand that, but you have to Google those measurements. But what I realize is that you're dealing with you're dealing with stuff you cannot see with your bare eyes. You have to use things like microscope, and then I think ultra microscope, or more stuff to actually deal with them. And those small difference can really cause a big difference in the science field. That's how minuscule science stuff is. So professionalism is going to be really important. And what I realized doing the work was, we're doing this. I'm doing this 9 to 5, and what happened was that majority I start of the person I started with were person that just came out of high school or stuff like that. I were working another job, but they basically came out of high school and they started working. I actually went to university after high school. So what happened was that they have more working experience than me, but they, as I go on, you see, um, what happened was that the the bad traits of of the working environment, I see. All the 9 to 5 bad jokes, I see it. It played out. And you know, I guess in a normal 9 to 5 is okay, but when we're doing science, those stuff can really just cause a lot of danger. Danger. So that's the thing where I think that's one thing that kind of separates science from other stuff from the beginning. Like, no matter how no matter how lackadaisical the student was. We always knew the danger of not being professional, you know, like because the teacher always enforce it. In business, when was going to school learning business, the business teacher or lecturer is always more casual and lackadaisical and more friendly because that's what businessmen are negotiators and stuff like that. So they have to be more charismatic and stuff like that. Science is more strict, so you have to be you have to be professional. You have to actually it can be it can be friendly as that's one another expert. I think we have to be as I said in the business you have to be able to have some business skills as well and become charismatic and stuff like that and more friendly. But you have to be professional as well. You have to you have to be like everybody have to understand like when they hear the things are in force. Is that a joke? It could be in different companies it could be a joke, but when they step in this company, your life is on the line. Is that a different? It's a different kind of thing. So it's like, bro. So it's like that's the difference. So professionalism and unprofessionalism can really cause a big thing for the company to grow or not grow because unprofessional people is going to be a liability. You have to spend a lot more time to actually make it professional. It's like so it's not a bad thing necessarily a bad thing or a good thing. It's just a thing you have to be like, okay, yeah, you have to just take that into account. Like what I realized doing the job was that not everybody is going to be professional, and I was I came to the job professional because the family that I grew up in, no matter what, I always have to wear a certain wear dress nice for the interview and stuff like that. And what happened was that it usually be so embarrassing doing it when I was younger because my family told me. But what happened was that when I started doing it on my own, when I actually go to the interview myself, I saw the relevance for myself to actually look professional and neat. And so it never felt embarrassing to me because I knew why I was wearing that clothes. I wanted to present a certain um message that okay, yes, I want the job. And those stuff you don't understand when you're younger. You'll be like you just like I think like, oh my god, my mother is telling me that I have to dress up to an interview and you're wearing all these lame clothes. So but when you're older, be like, oh yes, I understand the relevance of dressing like this. It's professional, and it's not a way you have to overdress and stuff like that. It's just that you understand the relevance of the shoes and stuff like that. And what happened was that when I was doing the work, I was really teased a lot in the sense that not teased in a negative way or negative. But what happened was that I always dress professional when I was at the every day at the work because I always wear working clothes, and then on Fridays you could wear jeans. And even when I wear jeans, I usually have a working shirt and always look professional. So it's, it's to the point that the end of the person there that just came out of high school and start working, and they call me pastor. They call me pastor. And it's like because of how I always look professional and stuff like that. And they always look working clothes as well. But always look professional. Like I'm coming. I basically go for the boss position. That's how I always dress. And the reason why is that is because I know I know what I'm trying to achieve now. So I want to you have to just play the part. You have to fake it till you make it. I just play the part, and it really does. That was one of the aspects that made me brought me this far because people just like and what respected the way I dress. Like that's all having good clothes and wear good stuff over time. The thing about it is that you have to be able to maintain the ability to actually have all that clothes to really and have the time to iron and wash it to actually maintain that clothing lifestyle. But once you can, people respect even though they may trouble you in the initial, they respect it because you look professional every time you're going to work. Be like, bro, even if you're just I was an average person, average trainee, then average I look as professional as the higher people, the people that were leading me or over me at the time, because I dressed because I knew what I was going there for. So that's what I said. Professionalism is you have to that's another thing in the business of science. You have to, yeah, when people come into the business of science, when you employ them, you have to buy into the fact. They have to buy and understand. They're going to learn that through school, the professional stuff that you have to do with the rules and stuff. But when they come out, they have to really understand and buy the relevance of it as well, so that it doesn't really leave them. It doesn't really leave them and be like, okay, yes, I remember the relevance. But the different thing is this time is that they are comfortable in it. When I was doing the labs at school, at university, or such like that, we were given the rules. But what happened was that because the rules for the ladies were very more strict. Like for example, you couldn't do nails because acids could really burn the nails and stuff like that. Couldn't wear your I think you could have long hair in the sense that you had to, if your hair was long, you had to actually do I think you may had to wear, you had to cover it up. So maybe you had to wear a hat or something. I'm not sure. But you could not something about the hair. So and that drove women crazy because what happened was that, so we're doing I was doing my degree biochemistry, and what happened was that there's a stereotype with the science and the business department. So the science department, they always say that the science department always look dead in a sense that what happens is that our structure is so much more rigid that most of it, the people that goes in and do science when they reach the university level, they always dress down. They always dress down in a sense that because we're always so busy, we have something to do, especially to get a third year. You have this doing that, doing that. So dressing is really one of those things you have to sacrifice to actually able to, many people sacrifice to actually get their grades because to actually dress well every day, as I mentioned, they have to be able to wash and iron. And what happened was that on the university level, when you're doing dorm, if you're doing dorm, you're sharing a washroom, and a lot of people are washing and stuff like that. So you have to, it's like it was a mess. So you have to basically a lot of science people were dressed down. But what happened was that on the business side now, there was the business side of the university. A lot of people, it was like a dressing contest. Like you go to that side of everyone was in the best designer and everything like that. Because what happened was that you, in the business world, again, you have to look professional. So that was what they were doing. So they were had to look professional, or they had to be stylish and stuff like that. And then not only that, what happened was that their schedule was more laxed. It was more relaxed than strict. How the science structure was strict. There was more relaxed. And that's what you realize in the business world as well, in the sense that it's more laxed. Even though it's more work and you have to, they're maximizing profit and fast and everything. I, when they do science, when they did science and actually go in the business world, you realize it's a lot more easy. It's just lot of different thing you have to really tweak and stuff like that. But it's more lax, and that give people time to actually dress to impress, dress to impress. So it's like one of those stuff now, So we're here now in the work. I'm dressing to impress, dressing to impress. Yeah, so it's like we're. So as I said, that's basically for this episode. And professionalism, and professionalism is really important in a competent business, in the business of science. As you really, you have to be pro, you have to under, understand the rules and be professional at work because yo, you're going there to make money and make money for the company. And professionalism really cause unproductivity. Yeah, in a fast-paced business world, as I said, when they're doing science and business of science is not it's not normal science. You're doing science where you're being on the business side where you are competing and stuff like that. It's gonna take some. You have to be professional and on the edge. It's like it's wild. It's wild. It's going to be a wild stuff, and it's going to be wrong. It's going to be wrong too because be like, why are you competing in science? You're just gonna destroy it, like the pandemic and the various vaccine company that was racing to actually build a vaccine, and then it causes all these stereotype of people that said, "Oh, this vaccine is better than this one because of this brand and stuff like that." Science that's really negative. Are like for example, currently you have things made by companies where a lot of symptoms because what happened was that how this company goes that you made up a drug and this drug works and cures one thing that you had, but it has the chance to cause so much other stuff. And we like, and they'd be like, okay, that's a risk that we can take. Let us bring it out to market and boom. Yeah, those are dangerous. Those are dangerous. You have to be more professional than that. If you want to become more confident, one where science is good and less evil. So that's basically for this episode. Thanks for listening and look forward for the next episode. Mhm.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.
Um, Getting doing work outside the scope and being penalized for it. I know this. Is something as well where I guess you would have known. I'd known way before this podcast. Basically, they're hiring you for a job and they say the job says something like this: "Oh, you're this person, but you have to be able to do all of this other stuff." And be like, "Oh my God, this is not. It's like, for example, when I left the university, I got my degree, but most of my jobs in my field require me to get another certification in something else." And be like, "Bruh, bruh, that that is just so bad because what happens is that you basically just create another barrier for all the all the best people."